We are now talking to ESPN Cleveland radio show host Matt Fontana. Matty, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys? How are you?
We are good, man. How are you feeling?
Oh, good. The end of training camp is always kind of like it's like you want to get excited about it because you go, okay, the grind is over, but the season hasn't even started yet. So we still got 3 months to go. So the blistering heat will come to an end soon, but it's just kind of a quick lull here, get the last game in this weekend, and then we're off to the regular season.
How's the humidity over there? Is it bad over there in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, I've lived here my whole life, so it's like I've seen summers that it would rival Florida, Arizona, all that kind of stuff. And I got to say, for some reason, this August has been really hot. The humidity is here and there, but we've had some bad storms too. But they've had a couple of days, even just on camp, that I go, man, I'm just glad I'm sweating here. I'm standing on the sidelines in shorts and a T-shirt. I can only imagine what it's like out there in a practice. It's been pretty brutal compared to some years past.
Oh, my God. Sure. I can't tell you how bad it's been here in New York. Today it was like 87, 88. It felt like it was 104. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
and they tell me, well, you got pools. You can go to a pool or you can go to the beach. First of all, I'm not going to the beach because there's too many shark sightings. So I'm not going in the water. I mean, every other day we hear that a shark is on land and you have these different people wrestling to the sand. Oh, and then you have sites in Montauk with, great whites, tiger sharks, hammerheads. I mean, I am not, and I used to be a surfer. I will not ever step foot in an ocean again.
We just got walleye here. They got teeth, but they're not nearly as big. They won't do too much. They taste amazing. They're delicious. They're fun to catch, but that's pretty much all we got in the lake.
Well, I like, the first time I ever had alligator was in Louisiana. I had the opportunity to go to Mardi Gras, and when I was there, everybody was like, oh, you got to try the unbelievable alligator. I was like, what the hell is an alligator? I mean, you're talking about a real alligator, the alligators that eat people, that alligator? They say, oh, my God, it's so good. So I had it one time, and we were hanging out by the museum over there, and somebody was like selling him, and it looked like a hot dog. It was like a sausage, and I was like, "You sure this is edible?" He's like, "I'm telling you, you'll like it." I started chewing on it. It was like rubbery, but it was actually really good. It was really good.
A little watery for me. It tastes like everybody says chicken. Everything tastes like chicken. For me, it's always it's just a little rubbery, little watery.
Yes,
it tasted to me.
Definitely different. Very salty too. Well, yes, but anyways, why don't we get into Cleveland football first? So. What are your thoughts to this DeShaun Watson situation? We had you on last time. You were kind of skeptic about the whole DeShaun Watson and bringing him in, and then there were stories coming out that Baker Mayfield wanted out, so they would rather trade him and bring in another quarterback. So what are your thoughts to this 11-game suspension and him paying the NFL $5 million?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people see it as a victory for the Browns. The season isn't completely lost. As bad as it went last year for the Browns with Baker injuries across the board, last year was a disaster. It's what people say. They were in the playoff hunt up until the final 2 games. And actually, the second to last game of the year, they were playing Monday night against Pittsburgh. They got eliminated from the playoffs on Sunday because the team they needed to lose won. So they were in it up until the end. So everybody says, okay, 11 games. You have Jacoby Brissett. Can he go 6-5? Can he maybe even 5-6? Keep it alive for DeShaun Watson to come back. For his 6 games. At that point, you're going to have to ask him to go 5-1 probably to try to push, and maybe even that's not enough. But I think for the 11 games, most people understand. Browns fans at least have some reason to be optimistic for the season. On the fine, a lot of people were reporting that the NFL wanted to basically count last season as a suspension because he didn't play. The thing is, he made money last year, so they wanted to recoup some of that. I think he made $12 million. Somebody said that they were even shooting for all of that. So, you talk about the 5, okay, there. The 11 games makes a lot of sense. 6 is what Sue Robinson had done, so 11's pretty much right in the middle. So you roll with that, and that's where that comes out. The fine, and there were reports out that Watson was willing to pay more money to get less games. We asked him that. He didn't comment on it, which I think he owes to his teammates. He probably owes to the organization and the fan base, too, to try to get on the field as much as he could.
So what do you think is the best record the Browns will have to go in order to weather the storm during the 11 games? Do you think 5-6 is something that they could aim for and realistically make the playoffs? Is it something bigger than that, you think?
I mean, they definitely could do better. I think they have no choice but to go at least 5-6. I think you go for best record on the way out. Doubt that'll win you the division. You might still get that wild card. So, and I think you're just playing a dangerous game of asking DeShaun Watson, who's going to miss all this time, who's coming back to then not lose, not lose a game. I know his first game's back against this Houston. A lot of people are talking about that, and they're not a very good team. I get it, but that's asking a lot. I need a little buffer space, for him to at least go 5-1. Okay. I think at the bare minimum, they have to go 5-6. You look at their record, they have 4 games to start that they will be favored in, and probably all 4 of those. I guess maybe Carolina could change a little. Baker got the job. It's on the road. But last time I checked, the Browns were a 1-point favorite. They should beat Atlanta. They should be able to beat the Jets, and then they should be able to beat Pittsburgh. The problem is that they have 7 games after that are just, it's a meat grind. It's the Bengals. It's the Ravens. You've got Miami in there. You've got Buffalo in there. You've got Tampa Bay in there. You've got New England, who waxed them last year. You've got the Chargers, so I'm a pretty big believer in. So it's almost like I'm almost looking at that second 7-game stretch, and that is where the Browns season will be told, in my opinion. Yeah, I need to see what they do in the first 4, but that next 7 games, that's going to tell the story, because there is a chance that goes south. You're going to bring back DeShaun Watson just for the reps and just to get him some experience, knowing that you're probably going to be out of the playoff hunt.
We are talking to ESPN Cleveland radio show host Matt Fontana. Matt, Kareem Hunt has been speaking a lot this offseason. A lot. And he believes he should be the number 1, and Nick Chubb should be the number 2. I guess that's what he believes. But we all know that Nick Chubb is the number 1, and if he stays healthy, he's one of the best running backs in the league. So what is going on right now with Cleveland? Are they trading Kareem Hunt before the season starts? Where is he going?
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere right now. You talk about Kareem and his thoughts. I think it's just more he wants to get paid, because he and Nick are best friends.
Right.
They are, when we talk about the team, I could point to a couple of guys, Miles and Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney really formed, a pretty solid relationship and friendship, some of the offensive line. But legit, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt might be the best friend group that is on the Browns. And that's how close they are. So I don't know if it's so much he just wants to get paid. He's 27 years old. He's at a less premium position at the running back. When he did sign his extension, he got up into the top 10 for average money, which was insane because he was making less than $10 million per season. That's how bad running backs get paid. I think a lot of people are looking at, his situation for those that might not know or don't remember. He's on Kansas City, led the league in rushing, had an off-the-field incident that was very graphic and very caught on tape where he assaulted a female. He was then released, and the GM that drafted him in Kansas City, he's actually come up a lot with this Watson situation where people ask me, they go, why'd you give Kareem Hunt a second chance? I go, because he owned to his mistakes. He accepted the responsibility for what he did. He never once made an excuse for what he did, and he was remorseful in what he did. From there, did sign an extension with the Browns, which a lot of people are saying, oh, he should owe his career to the Browns. I think that's where you got that deal from. That deal is set to expire, and he goes, okay, what are we doing here, right? And I don't think he wants to go into a lame duck season where he doesn't have anything beyond this. If we've seen anything with injuries this year, guaranteed money is very important, and he still feels like he can be a number 1 back. He's only 27, as I mentioned, and he feels like it's time to get paid. I can't begrudge him for that. I really can't. And I think the biggest question is, what do the Browns have in store for him on the field? I think one of the biggest things that hurt the Browns offense last year, behind Baker Mayfield getting hurt, because that was number 1. But the second one was Kareem Hunt getting hurt, because he missed the vast majority of the season. The offense was not the same without him on the field. So I think if I had to place a bet, the Browns, they don't like letting guys just walk away for nothing. But I also feel like they might play this out to see how the first, chunk of games go before the trade deadline. And if they're out of it, then maybe they make a move and try to just get something for him. If they're in it, they'll hold on to him, and if he leaves, he leaves. But I do unfortunately think this will be his last season in Cleveland.
Well, I'm not saying that Hunt thinks that he's better than Nick Chubb, but if you're an NFL player, you always think that you're better than the other guy. So that's
especially when you led the league in rushing at one point.
Of course.
He knows how good he is, and he just knows that his time is, like any NFL player, his time is short, and he wants to cash in with a contract.
Of course.
I can't blame him for that.
So why don't we get into the wide receivers? And Amari Cooper is now the number 1 over there in Cleveland. We all remember Jarvis Landry. We all remember Odell Beckham. And we remember the high-flying Browns that everybody expected last year, but they couldn't stay healthy. They haven't stayed healthy for the last 2 years. So what is this offense about? Is it going to be run first, run second, throw third, or we're going to see a lot of Amari Cooper out there?
I mean, you're going to see a lot of Amari Cooper just because they don't have much depth behind him. They have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's going into his third season. I mean, he's a big guy. A lot of people are excited for him, but a lot of question marks behind him. They have a rookie, David Bell, third-round pick. Don't expect him to light the world on fire. They have Anthony Schwartz. He's only a second-year guy out of Auburn. He's a speedster. He's one of the fastest guys, honestly, I've ever seen on a football field. He has trouble catching the football, so it's like they have some guys there, but really it's Amari Cooper and pretty big drop off after that. As far as what they're going to do, the Browns at one point boasted the best offensive line in football. They have the best guards, in my opinion, in Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio. They're all pros. Jack Conklin's a former All-Pro. Jed Wills is a younger guy, but he's made a Pro Bowl. And J.C. Tretter. Obviously, the Browns let J.C. Tretter go, retired today. Their incumbent was Nick Harris. He made it all of 2 snaps in the first preseason game, tore his ACL. He's out. Now they have to rely on a guy named Ethan Posick to step in, and Jack Conklin has not played at all this summer because he's recovering from patella tendon surgery because he missed a lot of last year. He got stepped on, tore his triceps.
Right.
The first game he came back, he tore his patella tendon in his knee. So he had a real rough year. But, so I guess my point to say is, that offensive line, what it used to be, it's still semi there. Teller's still there. Bitonio's still there. Jed Wills is still there. They're going to slide. Jack Conklin should be ready to go for the start of the season. And then Ethan Posick's played a lot of football in his career with Seattle, so you slide him into center. The name of the game should be run the football. You again, behind that offensive line, when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, the name of the game should be to run the football. But you're going to go to Amari Cooper, and honestly, the second leading receiver on the Cleveland Browns this year is not even going to be a receiver. It's tight end David Njoku. They paid him this offseason like a top 5 tight end. They expect that out of him. He's always been a guy that's had the athletic traits. He really is like a physical specimen. Just battled injuries in his own right. Also, maybe obviously quarterback issues from here to there. But I think at the end of the year, I'd put good money that he will be the second leading receiver on the Browns, both targets, receptions, and yards.